Okay, we're on the last few jobs before this engine's in a fit state to test it. And so the next thing is the cylinder head, the old shed roof, and all this has been cleaned. No traces of gasket cement or anything like that that may have been on there. I don't use any cements or potions or anything like that, just clean metal, new gasket, and clean metal on the cylinder head. So all this has been cleaned. It's been wiped with a bit of acetone. Cylinder barrel has been lubricated with some two-stroke oil. Last opportunity you're going to get to do it, so you might as well do it. Just work a bit of two-stroke oil into the barrel, move the piston up and down, and then we need our new shed roof gasket and the shed roof itself. It's been across the surface plate on a piece of 400 grade paper, so we've got that nice dull grey uniform finish, so we know that it's nice and flat. No undulations or hills and valleys or anything like that. You'll notice that I've painted it. I don't like it. It was really scabby. This was probably the part that suffered the most from being outside in the elements, and really it needs blasting. It got a really good going over with wire brushes and the wire wheel. Still didn't look particularly nice, so I gave it a quick spray over with some cylinder aluminium. But yeah, I'm not terribly keen. Peter might like it. I mean, it looks all right. It looks tidy, but we'll make that decision further down the line. I think it might need to come off and be blasted, and then sort of roughed up a little bit to match the rest of the engine. I don't know. It depends what kind of finish Peter wants on the rest of the bike, I suppose. But it's tidy for now. It will get us going. So start the nuts. Oh, little torch just come on. I use a magnet to start the nuts because I think I've mentioned before my dexterity not what it used to be. Come on, you know you want to. There you go. This this magnet on a stick has got a light in it as well. So it keeps coming on every time I twizzle it. But there you go. What can you do? At least I can see what I'm doing, eh? Anyway. Okay, so that's them all started. And we're going to tighten them up in a diagonal pattern, and we'll do it in 2 stages. And the data tells us 18 to 22 foot-pounds, so we'll go to 20. We'll do it in 2 stages. We'll go to 10, then we'll go to 20. And that'll be it done, won't it? So, what's going on with this one? Better. Okay. So, get it in focus will help. Torque wrench set at 10 foot-pounds. We'll just get them all seated to start with. Okay, so that was 10. Go around again and get our 20. Okay, one shed roof installed. I forgot to buy a spark plug, so we need to buy a new spark plug. And what else do we need? Carburetor cables, something else I forgot to get. So we'll need to get a pair of carburetor cables and a spark plug so that we can run it. So let me just move the engine around, get it into a better position. Okay, let's put the clutch cover back on and got a new oil seal, this is the points housing, but we're not going to be using the points because we've got the new ignition system. But you still need the oil seal, otherwise all your gearbox oil is going to end up. You can have a little fish pond of gearbox oil in there. Well, you're not, because there's a hole there. It'll all drain out. So at least you know it's leaking. Nice and clean. There was a little bit of damage here. Don't know if you recall on one of the earlier videos, I think it was one of the first videos on this engine, there was a wodge of sealant around this area, so it must have been leaking oil at some point. It looks as though someone's, levered against it or something like that, but perhaps to change the oil seal in the past. I'm not entirely sure, because I don't think the rest of the engine had been apart, but anyway, that's been repaired. A little bit of DevCon F for aluminium, DevCon A for steel. But there's other stuff that you can use. If you're not using it professionally, it is an arm and a leg, that stuff. So stuff like your JB welds and your Araldite repair putties, things like that, very, very similar and will do the same job. When you're smoothing it down, I recommend you use a very fine file and just draw file it off with some little bit of chalk on the teeth so that it doesn't clog. And just gently draw file it off, because if you use abrasive paper or something like that, you can wear little hollows in there. Then you don't cure the oil leak, you just make it worse. So yeah, just a kind of a tip really. We've got a new gasket which will fit, and we'll put some grease on that. I'm not going to use any gasket sealer or anything like that, just grease it up and it should be fine. So I'll go and get the grease pot out, we'll get that on there, and get the right gasket is in position, and we can start getting a couple of screws in. And the screws have the little fibre washers on to stop the oil from working its way. Hang on, before I do that, let me just put some oil on the oil seal. Yeah, the little fibre washers just stop the oil in the gearbox clutch casing from working its way up the threads of the bolts and escaping. Let's get a little bit of oil on the oil seal. Make sure that that's a nice easy fit. And I should just push down onto the gasket. Let's just double check the fit of that gasket, because it doesn't look quite right. Let's make sure it hasn't moved. Oh, looks alright. Might just need a little bit of tickling. A little bit oversized, which is good, because we can always trim it. I'd rather have the gasket sticking out than not enough gasket anyway. Right, so I will start to get the casing screws in, and once I've done that, we've just got another gasket to go on here. We've got the points cover, or what was the points cover, to go on, and I'll bring you back, and then we can feast our eyes and have a look at the... Right, that looks pretty darn good, I think. So, same again with this gasket, which will keep any water out of the, or weather out of the, what was the points cover. And now effectively is an empty chamber, but even so, we don't want it filling up with water. Let me just find the screws. What have I done with them? Having one of those days. Here they are. Right. This one's going to need a little bit of a trim as well, just to tidy it up. Yeah, let me show you this. Just noticed that. Quality control. Not properly formed. You know, there's no, it's just a dimple, like a center drill. There's nowhere for the Allen key to go. So, I have to get another one of those. But, I will just put it in loosely for now, just to hold the cover on. So I'll just wind that down with my pliers. Excuse my voice. Frog in my throat. I'm not going to go tight with this because I need to get another one. There we go. Looks the part, even though we know it isn't the part. So there it is. We'll put the carburetor on in a minute, but that's pretty much our engine done, isn't it? And just grab the Kickstarter. And we'll just turn it over on the Kickstarter. Oops, sorry, kick the camera. Super. Very happy with that. So we can fit the carburetor, and then we need a spark plug. We need some carburetor cables. Obviously, we need to put some oil in the gearbox. And then we need to figure a way of getting it started. I don't really think I want to start it on this stand. Although, actually... Oh no. How would we fit the exhaust? That would be an interesting proposition. But, yeah, we'll think of something. And that will be another video, I think. But, well, I'm sure it will. We're definitely not going to get it started today. So, yeah, grab the carburetor, get the studs in, and get that fitted. And that'll be it, I think. This might be an incredibly short video, but nice to see it come together and, you know, properly look like an engine again. Okay, I fitted the Kickstarter and the gear change. Looks very nice. They came up nicely in the citric acid bath. I mean, a bit of pitting, and you know, you have to keep on top of it because they will rust again, but for, you know, what they've been through, they're doing all right. Right, we're going to fit the carburetor now, and you can use an O-ring or you can use a gasket, and I like to use the gasket because the O-ring, which fits in the O-ring groove, tends to promote warpage of the mounting face. And these carburetors, these concentrics, when they made them, various sort of things been written about them, but basically they made them to a price, and they made them from a very poor quality zinc-based alloy, and yeah, if you walk past them and look at them wrong, they will warp. And part of the reason why the bodies wear and the slides wear quite so badly, you know, is due to that poor quality of material, because they were making them to a price. Anything they could do to save a few bob back in the sort of last few years of the British motorcycle industry, they were doing, in the face of very stiff competition from Japan. So, yeah, there you go. You got what you paid for, I'm afraid, and they didn't pay a lot. But this carburetor is fairly worn in the body and in the slide. I did mention earlier about possibly getting a new slide for it and just seeing if we can take up a bit of that wear. But sometimes you're throwing good money after bad, because basically you know the body is worn, so it's still going to leak air even if you put a new slide in there. But hopefully we'll get a start out of it, and then Peter can decide what he wants to do carburetor wise. Tell you what, I'll get these nipped up because you're going to get really bored watching me do it. Well, I do declare, I think we're done. Certainly we've concluded the rebuild phase. Yes, we need to just test it, and I need to figure out a means of doing that. I think I could probably get a pop and a bang out of it on this stand if we duly rig the electrics and you know, just give it a sort of spoonful of fuel. We'll probably be able to get a pop out of it. But I think that's it really for the rebuild phase. Let me just turn it around, let you see the other side. Double check you can see. Yeah, you can. Turns over absolutely lovely. Move out of the way of the vice a little bit. Certainly plenty of pop to it. So that's it, I think. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this rebuild. We've gone from effectively a garden ornament to an engine that we could bolt into a bike and, you know, within an hour or so have it running and riding up the road. So that's a win as far as I'm concerned, and I've really enjoyed doing it. It's been quite the challenge, but I like a challenge, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed doing this build, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching along and you know, taking part in your own way by commenting and you know, offering suggestions. So thanks very much indeed to all of you that have watched the whole series. Thanks to all of my subscribers, new and old. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for signing up. And as ever, it costs nothing, not a shilling. If you're not subscribed, please do consider hitting the button, ringing the bell, and you'll get to see whatever we do next. But yeah, Peter's B175 complete. Just needs testing, and I think ready to eat a few more miles and give a few more years service, which that was the aim. So I'm very pleased. Right, mind how you go, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.